Alright, let's move over to the bed and let's talk about a bad movie. Alright, so, the movie that we're talking about is Aladdin and the Adventure of All Time, which, right off the bat, really bad title. And, okay. This took 5 years to make. It started production in 1995 and finished in 2000. Went straight to video. It was animated in the Philippines for the cheap. And it's produced by Roger Corman. And if you have a very vast knowledge of who Roger Corman is, or if you've seen my crossover review with Critical Kid on his Fantastic Four movie, then you'll know Roger Corman is really good at making terrible schlock that's entertaining. And this movie's no exception. So this movie tried to capitalize on both The Pagemaster and Aladdin. Those two movies. They tried putting them together. Like, I think even on the box, if you buy it, it says it on there. It says, like, the wonderful crossover of these two movies. Like, we really wanted to know. Like, it's, like, these two movies, like, Aladdin and Pagemaster, you didn't think you'd see that as a crossover. This was insane. And yet it was amazing at the same time. It's a special kind of Roger Corman, awfully hilarious. Okay, two things I want to get out of the way before we actually talk about the movie. The animation and the voice acting. The voice acting is probably the best thing in the movie because the voice actors, they actually got some big names. They got two of the Powerpuff Girls, and they got Jim Cummings. They got voice acting legend Jim Cummings to be in this movie. That's impressive. The two of the Powerpuff Girls, the woman that does Buttercup is in it for a while. She doesn't really do much though. But the main girl in the movie, Paige, is played by the woman that did Blossom. So, there you go. And the animation, oh god. If you've seen either a trailer for this movie, if you've seen the movie itself, or if you've seen Phalos' review of the movie, which I highly recommend, yeah, this movie has really bad animation. It looks like, I know it's kind of a dead comparison, but it looks like the animations that you'd see in those Zelda Mario CDI cutscenes that people use for YouTube poops. It looks on par with lots of spaghetti and friggin' and squadala, we're off. It looks like that. I'm like, it's dead serious. This movie needs to be a source of YouTube poops. YouTube poopers out there, make Aladdin and the Adventure of All Time a YouTube poop. I want to see what you can do. Alright. So, onto the movie itself. So, our main character is a high school girl, or maybe she's middle school, I don't know if they really said, named Paige. She's a bookworm, very antisocial, she likes to read, she wears glasses, she's nerdy, and yeah, she doesn't have a lot of friends. And the first musical number in the movie establishes that. And everyone sings about how weird she is and how she likes to read and keep to herself. What does that remind you of? If you guessed Beauty and the Beast, you have a brainstem. Now, here's how that worked and here's how this didn't. In Beauty and the Beast, it was a small village, so everyone knew who everyone was, and everyone was like, Belle, she's weird, but we love her all the same. Here, I was like, you're expecting the main character who's nerdy and antisocial to get picked on, especially in like middle school. And they have a couple boys singing about her, and then a couple of girls singing about her. There are these two bullies that come back. One has braces, one has freckles. They come back at the very end. We'll get to them later. But then they show a cop, and then they show a couple of like middle-aged women on a street corner singing about her. You're like, how do they know who this teenage girl is? That's weird. That song was lame. And then, okay, so then we find out that Paige lives with her grandpa, and that he has an antique store, and he, of course, has books, and Paige just keeps to herself and reads books. So then we jump into a story that she's reading, and that story is Aladdin, and it ends happily ever after, of course, but then we jump into the story, and we meet the villain of the movie, Scheherazade, who kind of, like, the way she's designed kind of looks like 2017's Rita Repulsa from that Power Rangers movie that came out a while back. But she's based on an actual character from, I think it was 1,000 Arabian Nights. She was the storyteller in that story. Yeah. She has hypnotized the Sultan so that he is in love with her and will do anything she says. Of course, that sounds very similar to what they did in Disney's Aladdin. Here's where the Aladdin ripoff comes in. The dude even sounds like has a very similar voice to Aladdin from the Disney version. It's not the same guy, obviously, but it sounds very similar. So Scheherazade's evil plan is that she wants to go throughout history and take over the world, I guess. And she wants to cover her tracks. So yeah, apparently this fictional Aladdin story actually has real historical significance. They didn't do that in Pagemaster. In Pagemaster, it was all specifically based on characters and legends. But here they're actually saying that Aladdin, and for all we know, other storybook characters like Little Mermaid, Hunchback of Notre Dame, all that kind of stuff, they probably would imply that they happened sometime throughout history, which, no, just no. But okay, she wants to throw off people in the future by saying that she was an amazing queen, by writing it down in a book, and that's a stupid plan. And she has a magic lamp, and she's like, this lamp has magic that could be used against me, so I'm gonna get rid of it. Instead of burying it somewhere in the desert or sending it to the Not Cave of Wonders, she launches it in space and it travels through time forward, and it ends up in the antique shop, and Paige really likes it, so she gets it. And so the magic of the lamp shows what's really happening in real time with Paige, no less. And it shows that Aladdin is going to be publicly executed, so Paige saves his life by wishing that Aladdin were with her. So now Aladdin is in the present. He doesn't really seem fazed by it. He just seems like it's kind of like just interesting. Doesn't really seem weirded out by, you know, not ancient Arabian Agrabah, not culture. That's dumb. And of course he can speak English, even though later he says that he can't read because it's in foreign. That's stupid. I know it's for the movie's sake, but even for this movie, that's really a stretch. Oh, so Aladdin makes a wish to thank Paige. He wants to give her something nice, so he wishes for all of her books to come to life. Now, one book becomes sentient. Here's where the ripoff of Pagemaster comes in, because it's very similar to the books in that movie. They were talking. And the character of the talking book is named Wordsworth, and he has a British accent, and he's very, very stuck up. What does that remind you of? You guessed right. You guessed Cogsworth from Beauty and the Beast. Exactly. All of their books don't really come to life, though. They just kind of crap out their characters, like Humpty Dumpty, Jack and the Beanstalk, Sleeping Beauty, all that. And then they have a song, which at first, hear this lyric, and it's even sung like this, and imagine what you'd think the song is going to be. Read me first. Now, when you hear that, you immediately think it's going to be a parody, rip-off, remix, screw you, whatever, of Be Our Guest from Beauty and the Beast. And I was like, no, don't do it. I was just waiting for, read me first, this movie is just the worst, because I was just waiting for it. But no, thankfully it's not. Song's still not very good, but at least it was not what I was expecting. So then Scheherazade shows up after the song number, and she has the Sands of Time, which is an hourglass that gives people the ability to travel through time. It ends up getting broken in half, and instead of wearing off any magical effect like most stories would have, where an ancient artifact gets broken in half, that it loses all magic, no, apparently it still has magic. It's just now Paige, Aladdin, and the book have the other half. So she disappears with the lamp, and she's going to try and hide it from them, which is stupid because it ends up getting written into Wordsworth's stories. So now they know where it is. So they go back in time to where it is first, and it is in King Henry's time. And King Henry is now altered. He's different. Instead of being fat and what was supposedly a bad king, he's a skinny, weak, cowardly guy. So they're like, oh no. Instead of just taking the lamp away from him, they have to wish that he becomes fat. So yeah, way to go. They ruined this guy's life. He was skinny, and yeah, sure, he was cowardly, but you know what? At least he wasn't going to die in at least, a quicker amount of time because he was fat. That was rude of them. So after a quick chase scene around the castle, Scheherazade disguises herself, takes the lamp away yet again, hides it in another historical landmark. So then they decide, okay, let's go get it there, because it again pops up in Wordsworth. So then they appear in the time of pirates, and they meet up with Blackbeard, who are in this case Blondebeard, who's now effeminate and weak and nice. And yeah, you predicted it again. They wish him to become the ruthless, stealing, pillaging, rapist pirate that Blackbeard is known in his legend. Yeah, so they're pretty much making things worse for people throughout history. Like, you seriously, you're waiting for a time where they go to Adolf Hitler, who became a world famous Austrian painter, and they say, no, 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 we need to make him, you know, so that history plays out. Like, okay, if this was made for a more adult audience and it wasn't terribly animated and all that kind of stuff, and it was like one of those, like, would you actually fix history so that it would be better, or would you let history unfold naturally? If they made it like that, it would be good, but it's not. It's a stupid kids movie that's trying to bank on two popular movies that came out 5 years before the movie was actually released. Oh, man. So, yeah, they wish Blackbeard to be bad. They get the lamp, even though he tries to steal it from them. There is a terrible pun of the pen is mightier than the sword. That was cringe. They escape off the boat in a lifeboat, but they end up getting eaten by the Kraken, but they're still alive in the Kraken's stomach. They see that Scheherazade has planted it somewhere else in history, and in ancient Egypt in Cleopatra's time, so they decide to travel there. Oh, back with Scheherazade, she sings a terrible musical number that is titled Queen of Mean, which, yes, that is actually the same name of that crappy villain song from Troll in Central Park. I'm so sorry if you remember that as well. Meanwhile, back with our heroes, they appear on top of a pyramid in their lifeboat. They go falling down the side of the pyramid, and then they crush the pharaoh so that he's dead. I mean, yeah, it's supposed to, you know, push history forward so that now Cleopatra is queen, but they killed a guy, and they don't even seem fazed by it. They're just, whoops. These are our heroes, guys. Paige and the book are sentenced to punishment. That stuff happens with that. They get the lamp back. Meanwhile, Aladdin just kind of sells them down the river, and just he goes, because Cleopatra's like, you can either, you can either go to prison and rot and die, or you can marry me. And he just okay, yeah, forget you, Paige and book. I'm gonna live the high life. But of course, oh, it sucks for him because she's fat and ugly. Yeah. Yeah, I feel bad for him, the dick. So sold his friends down the river so that he could get scot-free. I mean, I know Aladdin was a street rat in the Disney version, but he at least had a heart. Come on, man. That's terrible. Yeah, so like I said earlier, Paige and the book get the lamp back from the pharaoh. Once again, they don't even apologize for... They apologize for taking the lamp. They don't apologize for killing him. Which, by the way, he's wrapped up. He still talks, so he's technically not dead. What? That was stupid. Oh, they make they make a Cleopatra joke. Again, that was also cringe. That pun sucked. Granted, they didn't do it as fast as I thought they were going to do it, but oh, the fact that they did it, no. And then there's a time where you think they're actually going to have a heart in this movie, because Paige starts talking to her. She's like, you know, boys at school call me Four Eyes, and Cleopatra's like, well, they call me Thunder Thighs, and Paige says, well, it doesn't matter what you look like on the outside. You're beautiful within. And then they just wish her back to being beautiful. So what was really learned here? And at first you're like, oh, so she's going to be a better person now. But then she says, I'm off to inspire poets and start war. So yeah, everyone in this movie is an idiot, an asshole, or both. So, great. Then Paige and Aladdin, now that they've got the lamp, just decide we can do anything now. So then, okay, then they rip off Reading Rainbow because they wish for a giant butterfly that has a rainbow trail behind it to go flying through the sky, and you just want to sing the Reading Rainbow theme because that was a good theme song and that was a great show. This movie sucks dicks. So, more things that we could rather be watching instead. So, then they end up in Aladdin's time, come face to face with Scheherazade yet again. Scheherazade then gets the lamp, or no wait, no, she uses her staff. Yeah, her snake staff, which again, what does that remind you of? Aladdin, the Disney movie with Jafar and his staff, so it's dumb. Oh yeah, the staff, when it's not a staff, is just a snake that talks, and he comes back a little bit throughout the movie, and he's pretty much just not Kaa from Jungle Book, except he doesn't have the hypnosis eyes. So, oh my god. Scheherazade makes a giant T-Rex, which how the hell she knows what a T-Rex is, how anyone in Agrabah times knew what a T-Rex was is insane. They can speak English, they can't read English, and they know... They also... No. They know what dinosaurs are, they don't know what killed dinosaurs. The Ice Age. Thank you, Arnold Schwarzenegger, for that one great line from Batman and Robin. Yeah, and that's what they used to kill off the dinosaur. Okay, get this. When the dinosaur is still around, it's walking. It makes a huge crack in the ground. They drop the lamp down there by accident. So then they hide underground in like a little like cave thing. And then Paige uses the remaining Sands of Time hourglass thing to go back a couple seconds where the lamp lands, grab the lamp. Oh my god. After a quick tussle with Not Ka from Jungle Book, who says, like, she's like, give it back, you snake. And he's like, oh, sticks and stones may break my bones. But that's not an insult. He is a snake. It worked in Aladdin because Aladdin was comparing Jafar to a snake, and then he turned into a snake. God damn it. This movie's so stupid. Paige gets the lamp back, appears to Aladdin. They then use the lamp to kill the dinosaur because they freeze it. So it's frozen, and then I guess it just kind of died off. And then they use the lamp to wish that Scheherazade is a good guy. So yeah, they made King Henry, they made Blackbeard, they made Cleopatra, all these people who supposedly like did really horrible things in history. Yeah, they made them, they turned them back to being horrible people. This bad person, who, by the way, it was wrong when she hypnotized the Sultan to fall in love with her and follow her evil bidding. But it's okay for them to hypnotize her and make her a good guy. I know it's for a greater good thing, but it's a little warped. Just throw her in a dungeon. Like, it's like that one My Little Pony episode where they had Starlight hypnotize the main five. And of course she was supposed to learn that was wrong, but it's like, you're a good guy now. You're supposed to know that brainwashing people is wrong. You brainwashed people with your, equal cutie mark colony, and now you're hypnotizing people again. Oh my god, that don't get me wrong, that episode was entertaining, but the logic on that one pissed me off. Okay, so now she's a good guy. Woohoo, Scheherazade's great. Everyone's a good guy. All the prisoners are let free. Everything's good now. And then Paige wakes up, so it was all a dream. But they actually do the cliche of, or was it a dream? We'll get to it as soon. So now Paige has a sense of adventure. She's now more confident and outgoing. She stands up to the bullies by insulting them. So yeah, pretty much delegate. I know you gotta stand up to your bully in some cases of bullying, but I don't know, like deforming to their level and, insulting them, that didn't feel like the right way to go. Just standing up to them would have been one thing, but she insults them, and I don't know. Yeah, she calls one a metal mouth and one freckle face, so good job. Good job triggering and scaring off not Bulk and Skull. So many better things we could be watching than this movie. And the kid that they were picking on that she saves from is named Alan, who is a Middle Eastern. Yeah. Do you see what they're doing here? He's obviously supposed to be Aladdin, but he's from their time, and he has glasses, and he likes to read. So, of course, they're going to be the best of friends. And then the or was it really a dream comes in because Wordsworth is talking to the grandpa, and this movie sucks. But it sucks in an entertaining way because everything is so bad. Animation's bad, the writing's bad. The animation in particular is the hilariously bad thing because it's so horribly timed. They reuse animation a lot of the time. It doesn't match in a lot of shots. It's so great in how horrible it is. The voice acting was easily the best thing about it. The voice actors actually were given a horrible script, and they worked with what they had, and they did their best. So you gotta commend them for that. So if you can watch this movie, I recommend you watch it once and with a group of friends. If you guys love to have bad movie nights, get a pizza, get some drinks. This movie is perfect for that because it's so hilariously bad. If you don't want to watch the movie, I'd say go watch Bayless's review. It pretty much sums up everything that's terrible about this film, but also what's amazing about it. And before I go, I want to pose you guys a question because we've looked at some bad parody movies on here. That, we've looked at knockoff movies, like we looked at Video Brinquedo with Little Cars a while back, and we looked at, inappropriate comedy, disaster movie, Movie 43. I want to ask you guys this. Which do you guys think is worse? Bad parody movies that are just lazy with their parody and do nothing but, oh, look over there, it's that popular trend. Look over there, it's this celebrity, this brand name that's popular. Or do you think that knockoff movies like this, and movies like Video Brinquedo, and Good Time Films, and stuff like that, do you think those are worse? So yeah, I want to see what you guys would say. But yeah, in conclusion, one more thing. Aladdin and the Adventure of All Time, as bad as it is, I still prefer it over Sir Billy. Because Sir Billy was just, I know effort, both had effort put into them, but Sir Billy, the people behind it were horrible people. They treated their staff terribly, and the movie was just a terrible, terrible film that had nothing redeeming to it whatsoever. This movie is at least so bad it's funny. I could watch this one again. Both are bad, but I'd prefer this one over Sir Billy. Sir Billy, I will never watch ever again. Whew. So, yeah, that was Aladdin and the Adventure of All Time. Hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. Don't worry, we'll go back to doing regular reviews. I wanted to do a review of this more in depth, but I couldn't find clear footage to download and use, so sorry, but yeah, hope you guys learned something from what I was describing, and yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm the Media Wiz, because One Art Form wasn't enough, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.